Hello everybody, it is Lynda Falconer. I'm with www.crafterinspire.com. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator and I'm here to show you a little bit about some simple watercoloring. This is for people who are not artists. So here's a little sneak peek at the latest class I'm doing, and the directions for all of these pieces, there's 4 cards and a little treat bag, are available for free when you purchase the bundle. So I'll get some information about that up here at the end of it, but the bundle includes the birthday delivery stamp set, the framelits, there's 10 different dies, and these will cut out, these images are larger, well, you can see the size. They'll cut out the flowers, the girl, and several of the animals, but this bundle actually includes the paper. So let me give you a quick peek at that. Here's the ones that are very detailed. So it's going to cut out some of these little characters, like the little fox. There's a die cut for that one. There's die cuts for the presents and the balloon, and then the little girl and the cake. So lots of different papers, but there's also some really pretty neutrals. You can see those, and then you can see the ones I've used on the card. So just a little heads up, if that's something you're interested in, I can get you some free tutorials when you purchase that bundle from me in the month of September. So what I want to show you today is how to do the watercoloring on these 2 little figures here the easy way. I am not an artist, I'm a crafter, but I've never been good at drawing or painting. But with these tools I'm going to show you, I can do this and I can make them look pretty decent, I think. So let me get my stuff out and show you. Now here's my practice sheet. You're going to have to practice a little bit. And these are some I did today, and I tried 2 different ways, and I'm going to share with you the best way. I found the most success when I stamped with StazOn black ink, and then I put clear embossing powder, sprinkled it over there, shook it off, and embossed it with a heat gun. It's going to give you a little bit of a raised edge, which is going to really make your watercoloring look better also. All right, I've cut my little girl out. I've got the Daffodil Delight. It's a bright yellow watercolor pencil, and I'm going to do some coloring with it, but then I'm also going to do some fast forwarding. Otherwise, our video would be too long to get to upload. So I'm just doing her hair in white. They always say you need to have a light source, so I'm playing like the light source is coming from right here, and so I'm going to leave a little bit of white right there. Now this does not look like a natural hair color at all, so I'm going to blend in a little bit of brown, and this is early espresso, so I'm just going to very lightly put some of those streaks in, and I'm going over some of the dark lines that are in her hair that we've embossed in black. So just adding a little bit of color. And now I'm going to take the blender pen. Now these come 3 to a pack, and both ends are exactly the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you use. Make sure it's clean. You're just going to wipe it, and if it comes out clean, you're good to go. Now the blender pen is going to blend these colors. See how it's going to change it? I'm going to use little circular motions, and it's going to blend these colors together. Previously. Okay, and I think that's a pretty nice little natural blonde haircut. All right, so now let's go to the dress. For the dress, I'm using Pacific Point. The one I showed you earlier, I think that was in a turquoise-like color called Bermuda Bay. So my light source is here. So I'm going to go over the black lines that are the outlines, those are where creases are, and I'm pressing pretty heavily. And then I'm just going to lightly shade in the rest and then use my blender pen to soften all those edges. And I think I'm going to go back over the buttons with I think when I'm completely finished, what I did is I used a little marker, like a Sharpie, and went back over those buttons and just made black buttons out of it. So I'm going to continue to outline and then blend and shade. Go over all the dark lines pretty heavy. A little bit on her waist there. And then just some light shading. Our light's coming from here, so I'm kind of paying attention to that as I'm doing the top. Want it really light, and I don't even have to make it pretty because we're going to blend it. Then using my blender pen, here we go. I'm good. Going to do little circles. I think we've got it now. You can continue to add more and blend as you need to get the look that you want. I'm going to work on her hands and her legs now. I want them to look a little bit like flesh. Well, a lot of it like flesh actually. So I'm taking the Calypso Coral is the pen. I'm going to do the outline of the black. I hope I'm keeping my hand out of the way so that you can see. Anything that's a black line, I'm outlining it. All right. I'm going to do lightly color. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the brown pen, just give it a light coating. It will tone that pink down. There you go. I think I've got a pretty good skin tone on her. And you want to be careful if you get too much liquid on there. If it gets too wet with the cardstock, it will tend to peel or pill up just a little bit. Cardstock is something everybody had, so that's what I wanted to use it for. But better choices would be watercolor paper or the Stampin' Up shimmer paper. Those will both give you good looks, and they can hold a lot more water. If you get it too wet, you can always take a paper towel and run the paper towel over it. Now, her socks are white, and I'm just going to put a little bit of white on there just to brighten them up a little bit, and use my blender pen. I'm brushing it on the paper to clean it. And you see I had some little specks of the skin tone on her socks, but it disappears with that blender pen. So I am happy with her. Her hands are going to be covered up with the flower, so I'm not going to worry about that. So let's take a look at Chef. Now Chef is pretty easy. He has a lot of white on him and just a little bit of gray. So I'm going to go over the hat and the jacket just in the white, and I'm not going to even outline it. All right, now Chef's main color that I used on him was gray. You can do anything you want. You could make his pants black or red or whatever you choose. But I'm going with a gray, and I'm also going to put gray on his hair. So I'm going to press down pretty hard and color the hair and the pants and the mustache. He's got this little, looks like a cookie press. It's used to put decorations to frost cakes and to do writing. So I'm going to color it's gray. Hopefully it'll look a little like it might be made out of metal, silver metal. And I'll make it a little darker. And I'm going to leave that little tiny spot on the top where the frosting's coming out, and I'll color that red because the writing on my greeting card is red. All right, a little blender pen and we'll be done. And now for the fun color red. He's got a red kerchief and then there's red frosting. So I'll put a little tiny bit of frosting there and then work on this kerchief. And all that's left is to do his face and his hands. I'm going back to my Calypso Coral and Brown. And chef is done. All that's left to do is the little flower arrangement. And these are so tiny, it's a little bit easier to do these. I'm using Melon Mambo on the flowers, which is a bright pink. And I'm going to use green for the greenery. And then I'll use a blue ribbon, although the ribbon's not going to show. All done. Now I'm going to take all three of my little cutouts to my Big Shot machine and use my silhouettes of them to cut them out. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Here's our little guys. Here's our little girl and our little chef. Now, tying this bow was about like wrestling a goat. I don't think I've actually ever wrestled a goat, but I can imagine it would be just like that. You're just going to tie a little bitty bow. Now tie a big bow, and then you just pull the strings to get it smaller, attach it with a glue dot. Don't try to wrap it around that little piece of paper. It just does not work well. As you can see, I tried it. And then here's our chef. So let me get these guys where they belong, and we are done. I want him to look like he is writing that happy birthday. Isn't that the cutest sentiment? It does look like something you'd see on a cake. He's good. And then my little girl, she just goes right on top. Oh, I like that. Okay, we are done. Now, this bundle is called Birthday Delivery. The stamp set is called Birthday Delivery. You can see all the stuff that you get there with it. So let me know if there's anything you need. I'll put information at the end of the video. Thank you so much for coming by, and I hope you really enjoy this suite. It is my favorite out of the catalog.